Hello, everybody. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is Ola Prime's Market News Update. To start, we had a larger release of Japanese labor data today. Japan labor cash earnings came in at 2.5%, well below forecasts of 3.2% in June. Japanese overtime pay is up 0.9%, a little less than the previous reading of 1%. Also, real cash earnings year over year is negative 1.3% versus an expected negative 0.7%, which marks the sixth straight month of decline. Scheduled full time pay is up 2.3% versus an expected 2.5%. So, not the greatest list of Japanese economic news regarding labor this evening. USD JPY traded down 0.33% in the previous session and is currently trading at 147.47. The US dollar continued its relative weakness amongst most of the major currency pairs. US equities retraced some of their gains from yesterday, with the S&P 500 down 0.7%, the Nasdaq down 1.1%, and the Dow Jones, the least of the few, at 0.3% today. After the Euro USD dipped during today's session, it ultimately recovered and closed ever so slightly in the green. It currently sits at 1.161, less than the 0.1% from the previous close. CAD USD behaved similarly to the Euro USD pair, with a very small gain on the day. It is currently trading at 0.7277. Important to note, Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand made headlines this evening, saying trade talks with the US continue to be constructive, and that officials also agreed to build a work plan between Canada and Mexico to focus on supply chains, energy security, and other areas of interest. On other news, GBP USD also made a small gain of about 0.15% on the day and is currently trading at 1.331 as of this writing. The Swiss franc followed suit, recording a gain of 0.11% against the US dollar and is currently trading at 1.245. Lastly, the New Zealand dollar notched a small loss against the US dollar today of less than 0.1% and is trading at 0.5921 as of now. Gold futures continued its bullish week, recording another gain and currently trading at $3,439 an ounce, about $10 per troy ounce above yesterday's opening print. Silver futures showed further bullishness as well, gaining 1% on the day and closing at $37.84 per ounce. On the cryptocurrency front, Bitcoin futures gave up its gains from Monday in today's trading session, closing down at $114,160 and trading as low as $113,100 on the day. Furthermore, on the commodity front, WTI crude oil futures traded downwards another $1 per barrel today, closing at $65.18 per barrel. We've seen support at the $65 per barrel level many times over the last month of trading, so traders will likely keep a keen eye on how the level is respected in tomorrow's open outcry session. More importantly, please be aware that we have crude oil inventories data coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Last but not least, we have the 10-year bond auction tomorrow at 1:01 p.m. Eastern, along with a few FOMC members that will be making some statements tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, without further ado, it is time for our Quiet Markets live trading session with both myself and Coach Tiger, so let's get to the trading. Hello, Coach Tiger.
What's going on,
You
Mr.
could hear me in
Paul?
that, or you could hear me on that news segment, right?
Yeah, sounded perfect.
Just wanted to. All right, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. For a second, I was like, "Oh shoot, was my audio messed up?" No, but no,
Oh,
we're good to go.
crystal
Awesome,
clear. Yeah,
perfect. How was your day? How's your day been? Good.
yeah. I had a small winner on the Nikkei. That was about it
Nice.
today. It it's kind of funny. I had put in a limit order when I was watching on Forex Fire this morning, just so that I could have my parameters set on the GUI trades account, and then I kind of forgot about it. and um, right before I was going to sleep, I heard a ding. So I realized it was a limit buy stop order is what I'd put in because it had hit my zone, and I was just waiting for it to come out. But I meant to monitor it, but it turned out it came out and went just fine. I think it went up. It went up pretty decent while I was sleeping. When I woke up, it retraced about half of it, so I closed it out because
Nice.
I had noticed that the Nikkei, which was a bullish signal for me the last several days, actually had dropped down to a 3. So technically more neutral now, a little more on the neutral
Hmm.
side. So, but yeah, it went ahead and took it up for a little bit of a profit. So can't complain.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely better than my trade, my unfortunate execution on gold last night. So, hey man,
Yeah,
I'm looking to get gold back today tonight. Hopefully, there's some sort of opportunity in gold. Would love to again, but if not, I can only take what the market gives me. So
dare we
we will
say
see.
revenge? You know
Yeah,
what?
exactly. We can't be
The
revenge
same
trading,
thing.
but I will take advantage of
Yeah,
any opportunity that exists.
yeah. I did the same thing on gold this morning. Actually, today's the 5th, right? Yeah. Same thing today. I had put in a buy stop order. Um, Dang, Tiger, you got paid better attention. So that's 2 days in a row I did that. No, I wouldn't have got in this gold trade, and because as of yesterday, I still wasn't getting a bullish signal. Now today, I have a bullish signal because of the blah, 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 the PMI data that came out. So yeah, that's now on my list. But yeah, it chewed through the zone and it came back up because I had a buy stop order on it as well, and it dinged at me, and I thought, well, now this is officially breaking my rules if I stay in this trade because it technically broke through and chewed through the demand zone I was looking at. So I got out of it
Nah,
with maybe $1 profit or something silly like that, and then sure enough, it kept going. So it went in my favor. But if I would have stayed in that trade, I'd have been breaking my rules. So I got out of it, even though it
nice.
continued to even though it continued to move up to a would be decent profit. It moved 0.8%, I think, at that point. So
Jeez,
this
pretty
morning, but
decent.
it is what it is. I got about something small, $38, I think it was on the Nikkei trade. But yeah, just kind of
No,
another
not
wait day.
not the worst. Not the
Yep.
worst though.
How about your intraday session with the fellas?
It was very. It was really good. I think for overall on the day, I think everybody traded well in the regular trading hours today. Coach Sam definitely scalped it up like crazy. He was up big time today. I think he was up somewhere around $1,700 on the day scalping,
Nice.
scalping up the NQ. And Coach Darrell did very, like, in the beginning was in the hole a little while, but then traded out of it and then like positive 1,500. I think he ended the day green, relatively speaking, but definitely he was trading out the wazoo. He was making a bunch of trades today, so it was exciting for him. And then Coach Iris had probably 3 or 4 trades, and she was up pretty good at one point. Might have given some of it back, but I think it was a relatively active session today for everybody. Me, on the other hand, I ended up making like 3 trades of none of significance. I think I ended up making like $10 on the day on the regular trading
Yep.
hours session. So like it was a lackluster day for me. It was definitely a day for any trend like momentum traders. Anybody that's trading was trading momentum today. They probably knocked it out of the park. They were just getting short very often in the morning, and definitely making some good money. Whether it was on the NQ, Nasdaq, or the Dow, to be quite honest, it didn't really matter. The Dow was the weakest of them today, relatively speaking, but
Mhm.
still, there was plenty of money to be made everywhere, if I'm being honest. So unfortunately, I
Speaking
couldn't
of
make a couple of trades, uh, but it is what it is. What were you gonna say?
speaking of Coach Daryl, I see him in the chat. What's going on, Coach D? Hope you're having a
Yeah.
good day. Um,
You said what up, McElroy? Like, so earlier today I was saying how somebody mentioned recently that they were like they said that I looked a little bit like Rory McIlroy, if you know
yeah,
golfers at least. And it made me laugh because I was like, I don't see that. And then like as the days went on and I'd look in the mirror, I'm like, maybe there's a little tiny bit like in there. I am half Irish. I've got the half Irish, half Italian in me, so maybe that half Irish is peeking through a little bit.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, yeah. So
he was on that new Happy Gilmore movie. Have you seen it yet,
I
Rory?
did, man. I saw it. I saw it the day it came out. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, that was really really good.
How about you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found a website online. It's movies.do, I think is what it's called. But yeah, you pay like $8.99 a month, and you can get any movie you can even possibly think of, past, present,
Oh
even
wow.
movies in theaters included in that for free. You just type in whatever, and if for some reason, which so far I haven't seen this, if you ever type in a movie and you can't find it, then you can actually request it, and within 24 hours they'll go find it and they'll scoop it up and upload it to the site. But it's like that with all the movies, and like that with all sitcoms, TV shows, documentaries, anything you can imagine.
Dang,
So
man.
it's the best.
He,
It's the best.
yeah, that's a deal. That is a deal. That's a deal if I've ever heard one. That's awesome.
Yeah, but
There are some movies that are hard to come by on streaming services and
yeah.
physically in the wild. So yeah, there's like some
Hmm.
horror stuff that me and my wife like to watch and stuff that are really hard to find. So I definitely will have to give that
Hmm.
a look for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, you have to go through a third party to create the account, but it's pretty simple.
Mhm.
And I've been using them for 4 or 5 years at this point, so they're pretty legit. I haven't been scammed out of
Yeah.
anything yet, but I love it because yeah, I went on there, found all the trading type movies and documentaries and movies that are in theater. It's where somebody will set up shop in the theater and do the cam recording, which is honestly usually it's not the greatest. So I usually just wait till it comes out on
Mhm.
4K or HD. But there have been some cam versions where we've watched them, and it's not too bad. I personally ain't that picky. So, but as long as it's not like super fuzzy and you got people standing up in front, right? And then it's typically fine. But yeah, that was how I
Right, right.
watched
Yeah.
The new Beetlejuice movie recently, or that came out.
Oh,
It was like that. Of
that's funny.
course, now I got to rewatch it now that it's out on 4K. So,
Oh
um,
man.
yeah.
Um
So, well, yeah, just
we
kind of
got a
reviewing today's. What's that?
we got a comment from Maria here. Hi, Coach
Oh
Tiger
yeah,
and Paul.
I
It's
saw that.
2:05 a.m. here in the UK, and I'm just about to get some sleep. Have a great slow market. Thank you so much. She has a gold short on that she's leaving on, so hopefully it'll play out. Yeah, I hope so too. And honestly, I'll be watching it all sessions, so I'll keep you in mind there. I'm definite. I mean, it's already right now as we're speaking. It's dropped in the last 6 minutes. It's dropped $5 an ounce actually. So it's definitely
Mhm.
going in your favor. So we'll keep
Yeah,
you in mind for sure.
The only thing I would add to that is, let me see. I'm just looking at my chart real quick. So with gold, because that's what I was wanting to say. I would just say be careful. I'm not sure what kind of time frames you trade on, Maria, but um, with today's services PMI data, obviously that was negative for the dollar, which inversely is good for gold. So if you're in it short, I would just make sure you have a pretty good stop loss put in there, because gold has actually come up to the bullish bias as far as my top setups, because when that let me see here, that was for, let me just double check. So that was, yeah, services PMI, right? Okay, let me look at my services PMI. Yeah, so when that happened, it actually gave an extra point to gold. So I'm actually sitting at a +7 score for gold. 5 or higher, as always, is a bullish signal for me. So yeah, that's all I would say. Hopefully it continues in your
Yeah.
favor. I personally wouldn't want to buy into gold unless I get a deeper pullback. So yeah, hopefully that deeper pullback gets you some more profits. But yeah, don't be shy about taking profits on it, because I'm definitely a little bit bullish on gold at this point. But again, I need a retracement. So hopefully that works
Yeah.
out well for you. You can keep the short sell on, and then when you take your profit, Maria, I'll buy it off your hands, because I'm going long on it. So
I love that. I love that. I was just looking at, you know, I was looking at, I wanted to see, like what kind of downside targets maybe would be in play here, like what levels I'd be looking to get out of a short if I was in a short at the moment. And with the current market trading at 34.33, I see point of control from the previous regular trading hour session of gold at a roughly 34.37, and right now we're trading at 34.33. So value area low of yesterday was about 34.25 ish, and or yeah, 34.25, and the session before this past session's point of control was about 34.25 ish. So maybe I'd look for a drop into the 34.25 area before maybe another consolidation to then a possible rebound from there. But at the same time, in this past session where 8 a.m. this morning, gold just viciously went on a tear from 34.04 to 34.44. It gained $40 an ounce in
yeah.
3.5 hours, and then decided for since 12 or 12:30 p.m. Eastern time till roughly 7 p.m. Eastern time to just do nothing. It traded in a $3 range for 7 hours essentially, before making this little bullish move to then retrace back down to the area of support, which seemingly seems to be the 34.33 area. So interestingly enough, I might look to see. This is hard to take a short, honestly, at this point for me, because we're right at an area of possible support. So I'll just have
Mm-hmm.
to keep an eye on it, and if anything plays out, I'll try and take a short. But yeah,
Yeah, that 3404 level that you've got on there, that's the equivalence on my CFD of about 3350. That big spike up. So that was the 7 a.m. Central candle, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah, about 7 o'clock.
correct.
So 8 o'clock
Yeah,
your time. So I noticed, because that's when Donald Trump was speaking, during that hour. So I wonder if that's why it spiked pretty good, because just looking at some of his tweets, or not his tweets, but some other people's tweets. Yeah, he was talking
mm-hmm.
about obviously warning the EU of the 35% tariff if they fail to fulfill commitments. That came out at 7:19 a.m. From First Squawk,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be putting an initially small tariff on pharma. This is for Okay, so we'll be announcing on semiconductors and chips in the next week or so. We'll be putting an initially small tariff on pharma. Will go up in 1 year to 150, 250%. So, and then he also mentioned, this is from Zero Hedge. He mentioned Zero Hedge mentioned Trump will raise India tariffs substantially over the next 24 hours. And then he goes on to
Mm.
say India has not been a good trading partner. So, and then lastly, he mentioned China trade. Looks like President Xi called for the meeting, so they'll be meeting by the end of the deal if there is a trade deal. We're getting very close to a deal. So I wonder if, a few of those tweets kind of sparked gold, right? Because that was the same point, I think, when the indices dropped, wasn't it? I believe so.
Yeah.
Just had a little bit of a decline. So, yeah, you had that, and that was obviously before the SP, what was that? I'm sorry, the SPMI data. So just goes to show what a couple tweets can do, right?
I know, man. So true. It
But
is so true.
and that's where I wrapped an alert around on gold was about that 7 o'clock 5 minute, or no, that's a 30-minute demand zone I came up with. So if we revisit that area, if I get a little bit of a reversal candle with some volume, I'll be taking another stab at gold from that point personally. Just give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And I was I did I'll bring it back here real quick. I'll just bring the chart back to gold here, and I did pull up the daily chart. Sorry guys, I'm just I'm just constantly shifting charts like crazy. I don't want to give anybody seizures or anything with how much I am constantly moving my eyes across different products here, um but yeah, like we do trader guy uh, saying gold looks like it wants to consolidate. We could be at the top of range. Yeah, and with that being said, I feel like I've been mentioning this once at least every other regular trading hour session, where gold just it's like trading in the overnight session is one thing. It's just it's a relatively odd time for trading it. So like anything kind of goes, I guess, unless there's like a headline or something in the middle of the night. But generally speaking, the ranges that are occurring in gold that have been occurring for the last 3 months, I feel a lot more confident in gold in like regular trading hours, taking a trade in it when we are closer to like the bottom or the top of that general 3 month range. Like for me, for example, when we get down to 33.25, 33.30, I feel a lot more confident in a bullish setup. And when we get closer to like the 34.75 ish area to 3500, I feel more confident in like looking for a short setup in between, unless there is a massive trend day. Like, there are some of these bars that come out like on August 1st where you just had that big bull day there. That there are days to take advantage of gold like that in between the ranges and stuff, but it's just a tough one to trade. And
yeah.
I'm relatively new to trading gold, so I'm just learning gold as we go here over the days, as the days go on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm I'm relatively impartial to it, and if I can find a setup on the smaller time frames and the overnights, I'll take it. But in the regular trading hours, I probably won't trade it unless it gets closer to those outer edges that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, real quick,
and
Maria. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
Paul. 33.65. Yeah, if that's your take profit, that looks pretty good. I mean, because I personally have an alert set to potentially buy, but it's down at 33.50. So, yeah,
hmm.
that wouldn't be a bad little spot for you. Collect a few points on the way down, a few pips. So, uh, 5 minute time frame. Yeah, pretty good. Can't say I
Yeah,
hate it at all. Sell it on
yeah,
down
and
too.
sorry if I'm being confusing when I'm talking about gold prices. Like I'm talking about the futures gold prices, not the
Yeah.
CFD equivalent. So Tiger will definitely try to give the CFD equivalent uh, if needed. But yeah, I just have access to the futures prices because I just trade the futures gold product. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it
ready.
looks like, and
I'm,
Liquidation Lab also trades gold. Everybody's trading gold. I'll tell you what. My goodness.
Well, I read a study somewhere, and gold seems to be the most popular thing to trade. It's both what people make the most money out of or on, but it's also the asset people lose the most money on. So it's a double edged sword, right? But yeah,
That
gold's
makes
always
that makes
at the
sense.
top of the list of popular assets to trade.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
That
if
that
you
makes
can.
sense. It's like the universal currency of sorts. So I get that.
Mhm. Yeah, for as long as has been around, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, but yeah, just taking a look at my top setups. We've had some of my bearish ones. Obviously, still the pound. Still got the pound as the most bearish currency. Some of those very bearish scores have actually come up a little bit. So I had some minus 15s, minus 13s over the last couple of days. My strongest bearish one now is minus 10. So that's pound Jap and then pound
Mm.
Swiss. Those are tied. So that's that. And then, yeah, the euro pound, it's tied with the euro Aussie dollar and gold for a highest bullish score of a 7. So that's really currently what I'm paying the most attention to. Those five assets, 3 bullish, 2 bearish. So definitely take a look at some charts here in a minute on
Yeah, yeah,
those.
definitely. I
So
am
you still
marking
looking to
up.
see about jumping into that there, or you said you was waiting on something?
I'm actually marking up the NQ charts at the moment. Right now,
Hmm.
I need to get a grasp on how I might want to play the NQ tonight if I can. Kind of made a little like so. AMD, the semiconductor company, released its earnings today, and the stock like sold off. I can't. I think like $10 or something like that, and drug the Nasdaq down a slight bit with it. But yeah, so like the Nasdaq since 4:20 p.m. or so, I mean, just over basically the 1 hour of trading session in the nighttime session. The Nasdaq lost about 100 points almost, and now we're just consolidating again over the last 3 hours or so. So I'm wondering if I need to make kind of like a range play here. If we get back up to the 2390 area, maybe I get short with a stop close to like the 23,100 area, maybe risk like 10 points to then
No.
be able to make maybe like 30 to 40 points, target profit somewhere around the 23,055 area, which is roughly the kind of double bottom-ish low that we have here in the overnight session. Or maybe if it can break through, that would be great too. Um, but yeah, I would love for it to get up a little bit more so that I can short it at a better price instead of jumping in all hastily right now.
Diddling in the middle
So
there.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't want to be doing that for sure. So um, what comments do we got here? Yes, Maria, I do normally trade gold futures. Okay, gotcha. So you do normally trade gold futures. That's good. Uh, and trader guy, oil could be worth a small position long. I mean, there is clear support underneath. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I and in my news segment, that's something. And actually, in the regular trading hours earlier today, I did mention that the $65 area seemingly is an easy, very clear and easy support level that has been acting as support for the last month of trading, really. So, taking a cheap stab long with minimal risk, relatively speaking, I wouldn't blame anybody for taking that trade. The 50 period EMA is there. Well, I can just pull up the chart real quick. I mean, I guess that would make sense. I have it right in front of me, so why not? Here we go. 1 day, reset chart view. Here we go. Okay. So I can delete this. So I'll make a new line here right at 65. Boom. So that area right there, when we once we had that huge spike up from, I think that was like a news related event with like Iran and a bunch of countries regarding oil stuff, we crashed back
Mm-hmm.
down through that area, tested 65 with some wicks for a few days here, broke through it, came back down, broke through it again, and then all of a sudden you just see every single market session was closing above that 65 area. It was just like testing with wicks, so many wicks testing it, and then closing above, closing above, closing above, closing above, wick, 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 and then finally a breakout to the upside
Mm-hmm.
to 70, big retracement back down to 65. And now, what do you know? This past regular trading hour session, we had a down day, but we closed above 65. And right now, we are we didn't break below it again, but we're trading above it at the moment. And
Yeah, and it's
the
sitting in a daily demand zone too. That daily demand zone candle, that last blue candle down, that's what I'd be looking at
yep,
potentially.
yeah. So I wouldn't blame anybody for wanting to get long oil here. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
relatively smart long. Um, I'm not going to do it in the overnight session because overnight crude oil is abysmal in terms of liquidity, and I'm not used to trading oil in these current quiet markets. One day, maybe I did used to. The funny thing is I used to look at crude oil in the overnight sessions like it was like 5 years ago or something. I used to, and it was actually one of the first trades I ever took in the futures
Yeah.
markets. Yeah, so funny memories back then, but yeah, so not for me at the moment. Maybe in the regular trading hour session, depending on where we are at when
Yeah.
we're in the open outcry. But yeah,
Yeah, I kind of agree on that. I mean, I like that area. I love the fact that pierced that daily demand. If I look at it on a 4 hour chart, I mean, it's actually right in a 4 hour demand, which is also inside of the daily demand. But the only thing I
mm,
dislike about it is the fact that there really wasn't much volume coming out of it. When I look at the 4 hour
yeah,
candles, there wasn't much of a fair value gap. In other words, it just kind of went to the bottom of the zone and just slowly moseyed on up. So it
mm,
wasn't really a whole lot of gusto until the next day when it kind of left that zone, which I'll touch on that whenever I flip it to my charts in a minute. But otherwise,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I still don't blame anybody for wanting to buy it right there. Um, just looking at just strictly the technicals, but I don't have any
yeah.
interest. I'm kind of like you, need a little more volume, a little better of a session, I think.
Right, for sure, for sure. Um, And then, I mean, yeah. So I guess really what I'm looking at right now mostly is probably the NQ tonight. I'll be paying the most attention to. I will flip back to gold every once in a while, check things out, but I think I'll be paying attention mostly to the NQ. And we do, but before we move more into Coach Tiger's charts here. We do have a giveaway happening in this quiet market session
Oh
for
boy.
anybody for anyone that hasn't won a 50K or a challenge account in general with us yet. You are eligible to win this 50K Forex challenge account that we are giving away. 50K. That's just giving out these 50K accounts. It's so
Mm-hmm.
awesome. It is just like that is just a whole other level. You love to see it. And yeah, and the only thing you need to do is subscribe to the YouTube Ola Prime TV and Ola Prime Global channels, the Instagram handles as well, same names. Like the stream and comment on the stream, and then make sure that your email and your YouTube profile is in your YouTube bio. in your profile. So you go into your channel, click into your channel, then there's a button that says customize channel at the top there. Scroll down your bio description area and just put your email in there and save it, and you'll be good to go. That's the only way we can contact you with your free challenge account. So just make sure to get that done, because you won't be eligible if we can't see your email in your bio. And yeah, that's it. Just stay on till the end of the stream. We will be picking the winner live, probably closer to the end, maybe sometime around like 10:30 p.m. ish Eastern time, somewhere around there. So stay tuned, and yeah, good luck. Good luck to everybody who's
Good luck.
eligible. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's good stuff. No end in
Yeah.
sight on these these giveaways, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yep. Drum roll for sure, liquidation.
Always doing a drum roll. I have got, I think I'm gonna have eventually, like, I'm gonna order some things for these giveaways. I'm gonna order some surprise kind of things to celebrate some of these giveaways. I think next week.
Some party
So if
poppers.
yeah, something like that. I'm gonna be investing in something there. So it should be fun.
There you go. There you go. Pound yen, pound Swiss. What we got tomorrow coming up? I'm just curious. Nothing tomorrow. New Zealand inflation expectation report. Yeah, really, the next big event, 6 a.m. Thursday. We get the bank rate for pound, British pound,
Okay.
and then
All
dollar
right.
unemployment, normal weekly unemployment numbers. So we might actually have a day or so of regular price action, save for any crazy tweets, right?
uh, all right. Well, I will say the Nasdaq just got into that area where I was thinking I might be able to short it. It happened very quickly on a good amount of volume here. I am
Yep.
curious whether or not, I mean, pretty good buyers too. Um,
Bouncing off your 50 there. Yep.
let's see.
Decisions. This is where you're looking at the order flow, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
monitoring that.
Yeah, exactly. It's tougher. I mean, reading order flow in the quiet market session is definitely just a different skill. It's a whole other level of order flow reading for sure. Um, but I'm getting used to it bit by bit. It's just tough to
Mhm.
understand lower liquidity. It's one of those things where like each product has its own kind of personality when it comes to the illiquidity. So I'm trying to get a grasp on it with the NQ here, but it looks pretty bullish at the moment. Buyers are definitely stepping in. I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna short it right now. Um, darn, I really wish it was giving me an easier signal here to sell it, because I would love to just play a
Mhm.
little range trade. Man, it would be great to play a nice like 15, 20 point range trade and lock in $40 in the overnight session on a micro. But
Yep.
uh,
And that's yeah, for short. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a as far as Nazi goes. Yeah, I don't really have a point until we drop quite a bit. Like on the CFD, we're sitting 22,991. I need 22.5 is what I'm looking for. So still got quite a ways to drop because that's my only bullish signal I'm getting on an index at the moment. So bullish,
yeah,
bullish the Nazi, bullish gold, and that's it. Except for the three currency pairs I'm looking to buy: Euro Aussie, Euro Pound, Euro Dollar. So whichever one of those hit a demand zone is what I'll be
Yeah.
looking at, just from the fundamentals, of course, fundamental standpoint.
Yeah. And I just actually got short the NASDAQ there. The order flow started, the buying started really dying off there for a second. So I got in pretty decent uh, execution. I will only give it. I'm only giving it like 8 points. Yeah, see, it's already going against me here. So I'll give it the 8-ish points. See if it can't fail. And yeah, I mean,
Right on.
it's so funny because as soon as I got in and the buyers like died out and then sellers started coming in, I was like, perfect, here we go. I can get into the short. I get into the short and immediately buyers come in. This is what I'm talking
Right.
about, where it's like, and that's over like a 15-second time span there, where the
Yeah.
sellers came in. Oh, buyers are coming in big time, man. Okay, that's that looks pretty good there. For the If these buyers get trapped at the 23096 area right now, we could just see like a doji candle and then a sell off, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. That's okay. I'll take a small loss on honestly $16, a $16 stab to make $60 possibly. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, wow! Look at the
Not bad at
Nasdaq.
all.
Look at that.
Oh, it's
All
a flying
right,
now.
she's a flying. That's all right. Okay,
Broke that 50 and said sayonara.
for real. Man, it was
Let's
like on
see.
over 100 contracts on the Nasdaq. I mean, just in that 15 seconds of spike there, we had like over 200 contracts trade aggressively on the buy side. So that's what I get for trying to play a range, trying to play a longer term range, of course. Whenever I get into the range, it decides it wants to break out. That's just how the trading world goes.
The trading gods are
uh,
all looking at you laughing.
they are, man. I'll get them though. I'll get them back.
It happens. Yeah. You got to pay to play, right?
Exactly.
Pounds,
Uh,
wins. Trying to figure out which one of these pound pairs I want to short. Pound CAD, pound New Zealand. Pound CAD, pound New Zealand. Yeah, I'm just too far away from a lot of these alerts. I'm trying to find a smaller time frame, maybe a 5 or a 15-minute supply area, but it's just too much in the contraction area at the moment on a lot of
yeah.
these. I put a sign up on my retail chop zone, so I know to avoid those areas. So you'll get a chuckle whenever we share my chart here in a minute on that. Let's see here,
Uh,
just adding to the chart art, right? Pound CAD, pound New
yeah.
Zealand. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas since seeing you guys do it during your session. So, and
I love it.
it's just quicker. A lot of times it's quicker just to go to Yahoo image search or Google image search, type it in, and just simply screenshot it, bring it on over to the chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
I
what's
haven't,
available, in the
I
emoji
haven't tried
spot
that
there.
yet.
Yep.
I need to try that.
Yeah. That's what I've done. It's pretty good.
Let's
Pretty
see what
good
I can do
stuff.
here.
Oh
So
man.
when you do that, do you take a screenshot of the emoji or something and then just drag the picture over to the chart?
Just go and hit, for me it's shift and then the Windows button and then S, all in that succession. Shift window S, and then it'll darken your screen, and then you just take your mouse and just click and drag to exactly what you want.
Ah, okay.
Now I don't know if it'll work on the Hola Prime site, but it works on TradingView. Because that's where I do all my
Gotcha.
stuff. I couldn't get it to work on
Okay.
GUI trades. I don't think so. But yeah, if you go to your
I see.
trading view, it
Okay.
works just fine. Yeah, fun
I'll
way to
give it a go
fun way to
sometime.
be still.
Geez, what a terrible timing situation for me getting short there. Like the Nasdaq is ripping. It's 50. It just ripped 50 points in less than 15 minutes. I mean, it's in 11 minutes. It's ripped more than 50 points in the overnight. That is hilarious. The timing there.
Wonder if we
That's just comedic.
wonder if we got any news in the last few minutes. Oil prices
Yeah.
rebound from 5 week low. Dollar drives. Just looking at some of the recent items on Yahoo Finance here.
Mm.
NFL to take 10% stake in ESPN and deal with Disney. Interesting. That's
Oh
such a
wow.
pain in the butt
That is.
when it comes to watching NFL games. How you have to have like 47 different services if you wanted to find all the games.
Yeah.
You'd think it, you'd think they could have everything on one channel, but no, everybody wants their cut.
Exactly. It's all where the money is. Who's making what bucks and
Mm-hmm.
where.
Yeah,
Not
I don't.
convenience. I mean, I will say with streaming, we do get more convenience nowadays, but it used to be worse,
Yeah,
but a lot worse. But yeah, I'm with you though.
yeah.
Man,
Let's see
that
here.
was the trade. Son of a gun. I was looking at I was just looking at the order profile from like about the hour before I just took that trade, and I think I just wasn't paying attention to as much of the bottom end of. So if like on my chart here, I can show. Whoa! All right. So here we are. This this area that I've got highlighted with these candles that wicked down here uh, around like 9 o'clock, essentially, right before 9 o'clock, and between 9 and 9:10. I mean, when I look at the order flow during those times when those wicks occurred, just a ton of aggressive sellers executing, and then it just ripping like bulls ripping up and like ripping about 15 points in the opposite direction and probably causing them to stop out. And that happened 1, 2, 3 times before we consolidated a little bit higher there in this range where I've got highlighted now. And then the rip occurred. And, that was a mistake on my part, not seeing that sellers were getting absorbed easily about 45 minutes prior. And
Mm-hmm.
the Bulls were just starting to take over. And I wouldn't have expected a rip like what we just saw necessarily,
Yeah,
but still,
those are
that
real.
was a decent indication. So good to know. Good to good to
Mm.
at least analyze it a little bit and understand what I did wrong there. But $16 is a little paper cut.
Yeah, that's the worst cut ever is getting a grass cut right between the webs of your fingers. Grass,
Yeah,
like the big blades of
grass.
grass. I've gotten grass cuts right through there. Yeah, just like a paper cut. They both suck, but grass cuts are the worst.
Oh my god, like how is that even
Right in the neck.
happening? Well, what's even happening there? How does that even happen?
I think I was pulling grass out of the ground or something, and it was just like not the normal size grass, but it was like a little bit thicker blades of grass, and just like pulling
Yes,
it
yeah.
out, and it just slipped and went right through the webbing. Oh, it stings just as bad, if not
Yikes.
worse, than a paper cut, because blades of grass have those little tiny little hair follicles on it, which are like
Oh, that's
thorny
so
needles
true.
when it's ripping through your flesh. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
does suck,
you
man.
bleed
And
a
then it's
lot right through here too.
spoken
Yep.
from experience.
Yep. 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 That's
Oh
it.
gosh. Well, it looks
Let
like
me
the
see.
NQ now wants to give up its gains now. Now it's coming back down here.
Yeah. Take it on the way down, or
I kind of
let's
want to,
see.
actually.
Ooh, I found me a spot on Aussie Jap. Ooh, I'm not getting in yet, but still a few pips away. Oh, why did I do that? Yeah, I got a couple things. Nice little 10 pip range. I'll take that. Potentially, maybe not. I don't know. I just realized it hit a higher time frame demand zone earlier. Why did you have to touch that? Because that was a good looking spot to get in. Yeah, if I see a price hit a higher time frame opposite zone and it comes back to a zone that I want to buy or sell, then I'll typically stay away because yeah, like I'm looking at just a small on Aussie Jap, I'm looking at a little 15-minute supply zone. But earlier yesterday or late yesterday, it had actually hit a 4-hour demand zone. So, in other words, I give credence to that higher time frame demand zone over my piddly little 15-minute supply. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to ignore it. Oh, it looks so good though. It's
The
definitely a trade I
temptation.
would have. Yeah, it's definitely a trade I would have gotten in the past, but I've just I've been studying supply and demand zones for so long now. I just know okay, yeah. Even though I like that zone, that other zone is going to make typically push right through that and go a little higher before it reverses because oh man, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough to see
Yeah.
trades I used to take and now I ignore them. It's like
The
I just
patience.
want to play. I just want to play, but no, it's good to have the patience. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. No, that's the uh, that's the trader maturity shining through, the years of experience shining through. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
I
so I'll
mean,
ignore that.
I
We'll
mean,
find out.
it's tougher. It's tough. You when you see something that just looks juicy, but you
Yep.
know that there is a decent chance of the rug getting pulled out from underneath
Yep.
you because it was like a little apple being dangled right in front of your face, and then it just gets taken away as soon as you reach for it. If you just
Um,
had waited, so
yeah, while I'm thinking about it, if you like, I can share my chart and just show what I was talking about
yeah,
real quick.
sounds
If
great.
you get a
Sounds
trade
great.
that you want to take, just let me know. Cut in and we'll swap it back. But yeah, back in. Go ahead and swap over to my chart for a couple minutes here. Just want to kind of go a little deeper into these supply and demand zones that I look for. So this is Aussie Japanese yen, Aussie dollar Japanese yen. I'm currently getting from a 30,000 foot view, I'm getting a -7 score on it, which means it's a bearish. Bearish because retail positioning is net long. So I use that as a contrarian signal to go short. Seasonality is also favoring this pair short. Trend, GDP, PMI. What else we got? CPI, PCE, unemployment rate, and the interest rate. That's all favoring the Japanese yen over the Aussie dollar. So we've only got employment change, PPI, and then the COT report. That's the only three things that are favoring the Aussie dollars. So add it all up, gives me a -7. So I'm looking for shorts only. So when I was looking at this, yeah, it wasn't a higher time frame uptrend, but we have since made a lower high and a lower low. So that means we've got a potential good, trend reversal at the very top of the curve, which I like because that's higher probability of getting a nice deep, drop. So looking at it on the 4 hour, I did have this 4 hour supply right here. And then within that 4 hour supply, I had a 30-minute supply. So that's the confluence I like to see. And not only that, but I had a whole bunch of red candles coming out. So it just pushed all the way down here, made a contraction box. So anywhere I sell above contraction is selling overprice, which is good, right? It's the opposite of buying underprice, buying under value, I should say. So selling over value to buy to cover later for a cheaper price to get the profit. But as much as I like that zone, it did hit this 4-hour demand zone way back here just yesterday. So 4-hour demand will always, I mean, and we do have a 4-hour supply as well, but it's the point is it's low on the curve. If I'm looking at this swing low, swing high. So essentially, it's kind of, depending on the time zone you look at, diddling in the middle, right? It's diddling in the middle if I'm looking at swing low to swing high on the 4-hour time frame. But what I was most interested in was that 30-minute supply. So because it hit the 4-hour demand, I see it as being obviously stronger than the 30-minute supply. So that's why I'm avoiding that trade. But I still just want
All
it.
right.
I'm just not going to do it. But anyway, just thought I'd share that. Now, one could argue, obviously 4 hours demand, but there's also a 4-hour supply, Tiger. What's wrong with that? Well, the problem with that is this supply zone was not strong enough to break through this 4-hour demand. So if price would have came through and broke this demand and then closed before it retraced, that would make this a stronger supply zone. But because it didn't,
Right.
because it didn't, this demand was strong enough to push it back the opposite direction. So that negates that as a zone for me now. On the 4-hour time frame and on the 15 or the 30. I'm sorry, the 30-minute where I got it. So just thought I'd explain that in case anybody wanted to kind of get an idea of the mindset that I have when it comes to these zones. So
We love seeing the Coach Tiger zones on these Forex pairs. I know I do. I mean, I get to learn a little bit from you every time you go through them, and also you mark up your charts so nicely with your zone like colors and everything. I need to spend a little bit more time doing stuff like that myself because I very much enjoy the idea of creating, instead of me put it, because I just do a lot. I tend to be slightly lazy and I put horizontal lines around the demand area, like, demand or supply areas. I just put a line there to mark the level and understand there's a plus or minus, let's say 15 ticks or so of range in that area on the shorter term. And I definitely need to get on your level here and be, putting some rectangular colored boxes and stuff to just be a little bit more precise, but
yeah.
But
I
yeah.
mean, it definitely helps quicken it for me because, like, obviously I marked my supply zones in red and my demand in green. Well, I even go a step further, like like on this one I've got, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Like this is the shade of red I do right here. Like if I'm writing up a supply zone. But if I'm writing up a supply zone that maybe it just barely got touched already, maybe it's been mitigated, or maybe it just wasn't strong enough to blow through a zone, to show strength, then I'll mark it up in a lighter color of red, just as an example. So it is nice to be able to do that just so that at first glance you can say, okay, is this a good, legit zone, or is it one that I need to be careful about? The reason even if I don't trade the zone, I still want to have it up there in the event that I'm buying a demand, as an example here, because then I'll know, okay, I would want to sell before that supply, because even though it's been mitigated or even though it's not the weakest, it still could potentially, push price the opposite direction if I'm in a profitable trade. So, but yeah, it's fun. I mean, and I like pretty colors. I put a So this is my retail chop zone, as I always say. So I put a no loitering sign up here. So now I know to stay the heck out of that zone.
No loitering. That's so funny. That's so good.
That tells me no loitering. Don't trade in that area.
I need to try and do. Oh, by the way, just as a little update for everybody, the Nasdaq is continue. It had a little bit of a pullback from that that large spike that it made. It pulled back for about 7 minutes, touched a on the 1 minute, it touched its 21 period EMA, and immediately ripped back up to the highs. Tested the high, that like small high again, did the tiniest pullback before then breaking those highs just now. So not a
Yeah.
surprise. And Liquidation Lab also commenting that gold is the shorts were in, and yeah, over the last 20 minutes, I see the shorts really started piling on there. We're down almost, we're down like $8 an ounce over the last 20 minutes. So makes
Yeah.
sense. Maybe people getting out of gold, piling into the equity indices a little bit with that cash. A little bit of a negative correlation there, probably, just relatively speaking, negative correlation working out. That spread trading like that, you know, that's an interesting thing for me. I know, relatively speaking, gold is not always correlated like negatively with the equity indices,
Mm-hmm.
and as of relative history, it's actually been somewhat positively correlated, I believe. I don't know what the exact correlation number is. I haven't done the calculation myself as to what the correlation's been like over the last few years, but I would assume it's
Mm,
relatively positive. But maybe you have that number on you. I don't know if you have that number at all, but
that was gold and which like Nasdaq or something? Is that
just
what you're
you,
saying?
you could just do like the Nasdaq. Sure, yeah, do the Nasdaq.
Oh, that's currencies. Yeah, yeah. Actually, guess what? That's what DeepSeek is for. DeepSeek. What is the correlation percentage of we're talking of gold and what Nasdaq or which one?
Nasdaq in like the last 3 years, we'll say.
The last 3 years. Let's see what DeepSeek comes up with. Okay, 3 year correlation. Well, it's going to take a minute to let's see here.
Yeah.
Looks like average correlation last 3 years around minus zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.1 or minus 20% to positive 10%.
That to me, well, number one, that's extremely insignificant. We obviously know that. That is
Yeah,
statistically as insignificant as it gets.
we
um, but,
yeah.
what's funny is, like, logically speaking, you would think that precious metals are usually a flight to safety. So um, you would think that equity indices being relatively, like the Nasdaq being a little bit more risk on, you would think there would be more of a negative correlation there, generally speaking. But that goes to show you, AI is showing us no, maybe not. So
Mm,
I can also do that calculation myself. I just need a little bit of time to download the correct data, and and run the analysis. I mean, it's quick and easy on Excel, as long as you have the data in front of you. But yeah.
nice.
So I do like the idea of like trying to make spread trades at certain points. Like if gold is relatively in a structural sense looking bullish, and the equities are looking bearish, or vice versa, getting into like a spread trade and seeing how it plays out, generally speaking. But um, the fact that they're relatively uncorrelated is also a good thing for like a diversified portfolio. Having uncorrelated assets held together, that's always
Mhm.
a good thing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Um, I can take a quick look at some of my alerts here just to see what's new since last night.
Yeah.
Euro Aussie. Well, actually, first gold because yeah, gold is on my list. Like I said, it's a score of a 7. So yeah, for me personally, obviously it's up in this area, so I'm waiting until the 33.50 level. Got this really nice hour demand zone right here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 big candles that ran after that. Obviously, that was around the time there were tweets coming out from other sources for what Trump was saying, because he had his speech, I think, at 7 a.m. this morning Central. He had a speech. So,
Mm,
but yeah, I mean, the result of gold is it was strong enough to break these tops, right? So, um, pushing up through there. So yeah, I just basically am looking for a simple retracement down to here for a potential buy. Buy on some
nice.
gold. Obviously, I got a little bit deeper of zones down in this area on a 4 hour, which I like pretty well as also. But yeah, probably won't see that as long as gold is staying at a 7 or better positive score. But definitely am open to that one as well. If this were to fail, then I would obviously put an alert down here. So Euro Aussie is my, well, again, Euro Aussie and Euro Pound. They're equally the strongest currency pairs that I have. So Euro Pound, I am still keeping an eye on this 50% level here from this swing low to this swing high. Do have this excellent volume. Look at the red VSA candles clear at the bottom. I mean, that's what I love to see, exiting a zone, exiting a demand or a supply zone.
Mm.
I mean, that's as big of a move of gusto as you can get, right? So really like that. So yeah, definitely. Now, honestly, what I would prefer, if I could hand pick a currency to do exactly what I like, which obviously the market doesn't care what I think, I would prefer to see price break this high point right here, because that's actually a 4 hour supply zone right here. If it broke that area, then that would make it even stronger for me, because at that point I would even be interested in this candle that's forming here probably. But if it doesn't, no big deal. I'll still look for a trade right there on that 1 hour zone. Just might be a little careful on the risk. Now again, the volume is
Yeah.
perfect. I got a nice fair value gap coming out of it, which shows strength. In fact, it's kind of tested the fair value gap and bouncing off of it. If you're just looking at people that trade fair value gaps, I mean that's kind of looking like a decent setup. A little slow for those types of traders, but decent. But yeah, just give me a
Mm.
simple. I mean, I've already created a low here, so there's stop losses under here. Well, it's been manipulated because it went banks push below, collect this liquidity, push back up. So ideally, if I could see something like this to where it's coming up, taking this liquidity here before coming down, then I'd be definitely interested in that trade. So that's probably the ideal spot for where we're at. Again, my wish would be for it over the next several days to do that, but I'm just going to delete that to keep this
Mm.
simple for now. So yeah, collect some more liquidity before coming down to collect liquidity and unfilled orders
Yeah.
to the long side. Be about a 3-to-1. So that's currently what I'm
Nice.
looking at on Euro Pound. If it happens to break this zone, got another 4 hour zone below. It's at the bottom of the curve as well, so I like that. Um, Definitely discounted. And the other thing I like too. Oh, you know what? I just realized I have a no loitering sign. Oh, I'd be breaking my rules if I buy there, wouldn't I? Oh man, it looks so juicy though. Now here's what I'll say: if price does break this high, then I would feel better about playing around in this zone. I won't say that it would negate that retail chop zone, but it would make it a little more palatable to take a trade on this zone. If it just comes down, now that I remember I have that over there, no thanks. Because if I buy this zone, Paul, then I'm buying under that retail chop zone. I'm buying under value, because that's fair value. That's fair
Yeah.
value, right? So,
Yeah.
so now that I see that, okay, Tiger,
That makes sense.
just move your alert so you don't get tricked into buying there. All right. All right. All right. I talked myself out of it. So that's Euro Pound. Um, Tucked my tail between my legs. Euro Aussie
We do
dollar.
have We do have a question, or a liquidation lab was asking you about your thoughts. And Playmondo
Pound
actually joined the
yen.
chat a little while ago. Playmondo Bricks, good to see you again. Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, pound yen. We can definitely look at that. So pound yen is my strongest bearish fundamental setup. -5 or lower is bearish. It's giving me a -10. So it's in the very bearish status. So if I look at the chart, just looking from a top down, now we were in this pretty good uptrend for a while. And then when the fundamentals started turning the corner, when this thing started getting bearish, um, we have now made lows, lower highs, lower lows. So we've officially moved and turned the corner, right, from this uptrend. So we're now in a downtrend. So essentially what I'm looking for is a pullback, probably up to this level here. The higher the better. The higher the better. This price point up here was strong enough to push clear down underneath all this sideways junk up here. So, I mean, ideally that would be a good spot if we could get a jump clear up here to this area. But I'm going to keep an eye on the one I've already got, which is in this area here, which I think is on a 1 hour time frame. Yeah. So on a 1 hour time frame, I got this supply zone here, which looks similar to the euro pound, just inverse, right? Inversed. So that price point there was strong enough to push through these lows here. And it just made a really good fair value gap. So the bottom of that basing candle to the top of the second candle, we had that little fair value gap, got another fair value gap on the candle below. So that's pretty strong. And not to mention the volume spread candles at the bottom. I mean, that's some big spikes coming out of for the exit candles. So that's a very good sign of strength right there. So what have we had happen since? Well, we have had a little bit of basing action. Let me see here. 130. Yeah. So we've got basing action. We got price came up at one point. Banks pushed it down, collect liquidity under there, stop losses, right? People that are buying in this area, they're putting their stop losses under here. So what happened? Institutions pushed it down to collect that liquidity, and they also pushed it into a daily demand zone. So anytime you guys see a yellow rectangle, it's because I've put in a daily demand zone. So that was a red candle right there. Turn off my order block. Red candle, last red candle down before the big push up. So that's a demand zone. So yeah, going back to the 30. So price comes up, banks push down, collect liquidity, collect unfilled orders in the daily. They push price up, and we still need to break this top right here because there's liquidity hanging out in this area. These are stop losses, right? People that short sold right here, they're putting their buy to cover orders up here. So what do big banks need to push price down? They need buy orders. They need buy orders to fill their short orders. So I would like to see them push price up and collect this liquidity. I'd love to see them push it all the way up to this zone, to be honest. So we could potentially get a few expansion legs out of this. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this, like price up, collecting this liquidity, maybe push price back down to collect liquidity under here, and then get the bigger move up to the supply zone. So they're collecting liquidity over here, and then ultimately finding their trend leg. That's what I would see. That's what I would like to see happen. Just giving a little more
Yeah.
thorough, explanation of how the master pattern works. Because every time price turns around, there's liquidity formed. Right? You got red liquidity or green stop losses there. Down here, you got stop losses. Right? Buy side liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing over here. Buy side liquidity. Oh, come on. Buy side liquidity there. Buy side liquidity over here, like that. But the idea is they keep making higher highs. So higher high here, lower lows here. And they do that to collect all the liquidity and just go a little bit lower each time before they push price back up the other way. So ultimately, that's what I would like to see is some price action kind of similar to that. Of course, I need to color that red because it's ultimately a short order, short sell order. Hope that makes a little sense. I mean, we see this fan
Mm-hmm.
in action all the time. Perfect example is the FTSE. We go take a look at the FTSE. We were looking at this morning because Coach Richard's been keeping an eye on it. Oh, what do we have here? 4 hour, 2 hour. Well, really, any of these time frames. But here's what happens: you get your contraction point, right? So you have price coming up before it's settled. So what happens? Price goes up, price comes down. The banks push it up to collect this liquidity up here. Well, when that happens, these people that are buying here, they're putting their stop losses here. So banks push their price down to collect these orders. Oh, by the way, it kind of jumped into probably a 2-4 hour demand zone. So it pushes price up, kind of goes sideways before ultimately coming up high enough to take out this liquidity. People sold short here. Opposite of a short sell is a buy order. So the banks collect the buy orders to fuel their sell orders to push price back down to this liquidity. People are buying here. They're putting their sell orders. The opposite of a buy is a sell. So the banks are collecting these sell orders to fuel their buy orders. And now we're doing the same thing. So essentially what's happening is we're just kind of fanning upward, right? Fanning upward
Mm.
here and then fanning downward over here. Just enough to keep collecting liquidity on each side. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. Now on all the time frames too, but the higher the time frame, the better. Because again, that's where the big banks are playing. They're not playing on 5-minute zones, 10-minute zones, 15-minute zones. Now, their algorithms are right, but when it comes to their prop traders, the ones that are using the bank money to go and actually trade for profit, they're typically staying on the higher time frames. So that's the other
Yeah.
thing to remember. The smaller time frames, the algorithms are really good at chopping people up, right? But if you're trading with the higher time frames, well, now you're trading against another human being. You just learn how that human being
Mm.
functions, and then you can kind of ride their coattails. That's the type of trading I do because I like to compete with, or not compete. I like to just follow the banks. They leave footprints. They leave clues on everything they do. But the higher the time frame, the better. So hopefully that makes sense. Back to your GJ question there, liquidation labs. So
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as the
I am long. I did get long one mini or micro on the Nasdaq just literally 30 seconds ago, right before this pop just happened.
nice.
We we can. I'm actually going to literally immediately move my stop up to break even because of that pop. And because I think if this is going to do anything, it's just going to run now. Like if it's going to run, it's going to run. It's going to happen
Yeah.
now. If not, I think a lot of selling pressure just occurred, and then maybe we can share my screen. Actually, I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah. We
let's
can
just
hop back
share my
over.
screen.
Yeah. Let's hop back to polls. I,
Um,
I don't really have any immediate alerts right now. So let's see what you
I'll
got going.
look at that. Oh my god, that's so funny. I just literally got stopped out as soon as I said that, or as soon as we switched back. Uh, that like sellers just came in like and hit a big kind of had a big block come in there. I actually might get long again. It looks like they're yeah, there's no way. I should be long this. Um but yeah, anyway, so what I wanted to say was I might get stopped out of this now again too because I just basically saw a big sell order block come in which wicked it down immediately, and then all of a sudden it just lost steam and then just bidders started piling up again, so that's why I just got long. I just re
There you go.
got in long. So it's not off of just an impulse or a whim. I literally on the order flow am seeing a change in behavior immediately. And right where we're coming up to this 23,138 to 23,139 area, for about 10 minutes of time, two big orders were on the offer there. Uh, the one had 140 contracts and the other had 70. So we had roughly like 200 to 250 contracts between like 6 ticks of price in that area, stacked there. And then literally 2 minutes ago, they dropped off as soon as that kind of bullish momentum started. So, as someone like Coach Daryl would say, the skies might have cleared and provided us. Oh, look at that beauty! All right, let's keep it
There we go.
going. Come on.
Make a
Now
new
I'll move to
high.
break
There's
even,
your new high. Yeah.
and I will just literally, I'm just going to flatten there. I'm at break even for the session at least. Just barely broke the previous high that it made there on some decent volume. That was a pretty sweet little scalp at the moment.
Yep.
That was pretty. This is what I was talking about, where I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen right now, just because of the way that the Nasdaq has been trading this last hour or so. But I wouldn't be surprised if it tries to get up into the 23,160 area at some point, which on my market profile charts is the previous session's point of control. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it tries to make it up there.
Yeah.
For comfort purposes, but you know, I'll just take back my earlier loss and be
That's
happy
right.
for now. I wish I was able to show my order flow stuff to be able to kind of go into more depth on what I saw to re-long to get into
Mhm.
a long position after being stopped out there, but maybe what I can do here. Oh, you know what? We've got a tool that I can use here that I never use, but we have seconds charts in this. We can use the 5 second chart. Ooh, look at that!
Yeah.
Wow. Um,
Crazy.
so
Yeah, we got
now, yeah, if I look
yeah,
at
we got
this,
it
I'm gonna
until
look at my order
once
flow screen here. So 2215 to 2215.30. Okay. So don't mind the NQ continuing to rip. But at 22, so right here, we're on a 5 second chart, everybody. All right.
nice.
Um, this is hilarious because I've never actually looked at a 5 second candlestick chart before in my life. So it's the first for me. Look
Yeah.
at this volume that we see in this first 5 seconds once we get to 10:15 p.m. Eastern. That relatively bigger bar, given the overnight session, on look at that volume in comparison to the volume we've seen uh, recently, larger sell volume, and then immediately it dies out. That sell volume just died out right here in these next two 5 second candles, and
Yeah.
then super low volume spiked it back up. Super low volume here, no sellers coming in here. This is where I got in long again, and then
Hmm.
buyers just took it and went off to the races. So essentially, I had 10 seconds or 15 seconds to understand we had no volume continuing to the downside. This, just like you say, Tiger, the you know what? I don't want to butcher it. What's that?
The
What's your saying
effort
about?
and result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
effort did not match the result. Exactly. The
Yeah.
effort was very hard, like a very aggressive effort for very little result. We popped back up and on small volume as well, and I was just like, all right, well, the sellers just lost all the steam there that they even had. So I'm getting in long, and then this is the result. And then I got out right here at 41.75, which is right here, almost top ticked that that initial
Nice.
spike up to the high there, and now we're consolidating close to the high, and it looks like it wants to try and break through it. So
Yeah.
this is cool. I'm going to use this 5 second chart more to explain order flow now.
There you
I
go. That's
think
a good
that's the
idea.
since I can't show my other software, I think I'm going to use the 5 second chart. Wow, we just figured out a new teaching tool I
There
can
we
use, and
go. No, that makes
all
total
right,
sense how you explained it too. That's good.
yeah,
It's blaring now, huh?
dude,
Wow.
here it goes. That's funny. That's great though. Love to see it though. To be quite honest, I love to see it. I'll take what I had, but
Yeah, that's great.
again, I got a little too cautious and only went in on one contract. If I had gotten in on two contracts, I would have still been holding one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was not though. So boo hoo, but won't complain.
Profit is
Won't
profit.
complain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
78 cents. I can go to Circle K and get almost get a big gulp. Uh, for I think it's 99 cents for a big gulp.
I'll tell you what I like
Uh,
that you guys have is the Publix,
oh, dude,
right?
don't get me started.
That's like
I love. Oh my god,
I
it's a
went to Florida
staple.
a few times, and every time we went to the Publix, and it's like a shopping mall for Scooby snacks. I just loved it. All the goodies.
It really is, man. It's their slogan is "Where shopping is a pleasure," and I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure. It is a pleasure having
Yeah.
Publix. They're expanding. They've been expanding for a while now, though. They've been getting closer and well, they've been getting closer and closer to Troy, at least. I mean, not you. You're definitely a little bit more out there in the west. Well, not west,
Midwest.
but
Yep.
comparatively
Yep.
speaking. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Best we have is Quick Trip, and Casey's. I don't know. Do you guys have those there? Quick
I
Trip and Casey's.
do not have Quick Trip and Casey's, but I've been to them before in
Yeah.
my travels. I like Quick Trips. I like Quick Trips.
Yeah. It's pretty good, but it's nothing like a Publix. That's for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah. No, I've been the supermarket that I think rivals Publix to me, um, and it's not. It's really good for different reasons, but HEB. Have you been to an HEB before?
No, I've heard about them. Isn't it like H dot E dot B dot? I think. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
They're in Texas. I know they're in Texas because
Yeah.
that's the one that I've been to. They got
Yeah.
some good stuff. They got some good stuff there for sure. All Texas oriented foods of sorts and like
Yeah.
ridiculously good like tortilla chips and like salsas and stuff and a lot of that good stuff.
Hmm. Hey,
But yeah, here we go. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I just wanted to say one last thing. Liquidation Lab. Yeah. So when I was explaining that GJ to you earlier, yeah, I mean, I know I kind of did a long-winded explanation of that, but yeah, I definitely don't mind that long that you're in because for me personally, I do want to short it, but not until it goes up to about 197.91, just ahead of the 19 or just below the 198. Um, yeah, because I need a deeper retracement. So yeah, that should get you some profits. And this is very similar to who was I speaking with? Maria earlier on the gold idea, I think it was. Yeah, you just stay in that trade, and once that comes up a little higher, then you can sell it to me, right? Sell me those shares because I'm going to take it the other way. But I don't want to sell until it goes all the way up there to that 197.91 level. So yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, right? Liquidation. And along, yeah. Oh,
Yes.
you're more of a scalp trader. I got you. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, good stuff.
uh,
Yeah, definitely have it bearish, but definitely need it to come a little higher first.
mhm. Oh man. Well, I you know what I'm yeah, just kind of off topic. I think
Mm-hmm.
I need to I sometimes I'm considering at some point. I've told you that I wanted to start getting into some of the FX pairs. I have basically like an actual demo, like practice account with Ola Prime,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not like I don't have any like my it's separate from the challenge account, and I might in the overnight. I think I might use the practice account and try to trade the euro a little bit. Get my like like I told you, I can trade the the mini euro, and I think that's the account that I'm going to use to get my feet wet. Because look at this, look at these candlesticks. Look how ugly this looks on like a 1 minute. You talk
Yeah, that is
about
pretty
trying to
ugly.
trade it. Yeah, like 5 minute is probably the smallest time frame I can trade this on, to be quite honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I trade on a practice account, I can just be a little bit more, get my feet wet, get used to volume, understand. I mean, the liquidity is obviously low,
Yeah.
in this overnight, but it's starting to pick up a little bit as we get further along in the session here. But yeah, I think I gotta create some charts and stuff so I can do some analysis and be prepared to trade it when I'm on stream with you maybe next week. Definitely.
Yeah, the volume.
Yep.
You might even look at the Aussie dollar or the Japanese yen. That volume could be a little better since it's obviously the Asian market, right? I don't know. It might be something to look
Yeah.
at.
Well, I can't. I'll look at the Aussie dollar, but I don't have the ability to trade micros on the yen, unfortunately, on Project X.
Oh,
So,
that's right. I remember
uh,
you looked the other day.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the Aussie I do. So maybe I'll look at that too. Maybe I'll give that a look then instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
See
Because
what the 50
Sydney's
period.
trading now. So Sydney and Tokyo
Yeah.
and yep, Hong Kong and Shanghai, all the
So
Chinese areas, Asian areas, I should say.
it look it looks like the volume spikes around like 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, 8:15 to 8:30 a.m. ish Eastern time, and is pretty
Mhm.
large until like, yeah. So I guess through the equity sessions, it trades relatively on high volume, and then it kind of tapers out. But it's not the worst volume, like it still has decent volume. So it looks a lot better
Mhm.
than the euro actually at the moment in terms of
Yeah, in all
volume.
fairness,
So
yeah, I was just looking through all the currency futures too. Yeah, it's not really the greatest. Let's see here. Mm,
um, liquidation
it's
labs. We will be sorry, Tiger.
no, you're good.
We
You're good.
do we will be, if there is a winner tonight. We'll be doing it probably in the next like 10 to 15ish minutes. But have you won an account yet? If you have won an account, it's only for anybody that hasn't won an account at the moment. So we're just trying to spread the love a little bit more, and anybody essentially that hasn't had the opportunity to win an account, we're trying to give these accounts out to as many new users as possible, get them into the prop trading world with the best prop firm there is. So yeah, if you've already won an account, you won't be eligible, unfortunately, for this one.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah,
keep tabs on all the winners. They always kind of do a reverse search of names whenever we go to make picks, just so everybody knows. Yeah, a little bit of a reverse search
yeah,
just to cross reference it. Yeah, we definitely want to pass
yeah.
out to some newer people for sure. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog and your cat. Hop on here with us.
Yeah, and one last time before if there is anybody new on the stream, um, if there is anybody new on the stream, again, just if you to be eligible, you have to like both of the YouTube channels, Ola Prime TV, Ola Prime Global, like the Instagram handles, give the stream a like, comment in the stream, just say hi, tell us what you're trading, etc. And then, most importantly, put your email in your YouTube description, your YouTube channel description. So go into your channel, click customize channel, scroll down to the description area, your bio, and put that email in there and save. And we can contact you through that email. Without that email, we cannot give you a free challenge account. So yeah, please make sure you are, eligible, and by doing all those few steps, and we'll pick a winner if you haven't won. Best advice for a first-time trader, from No Sleep Narrator. Best advice, Tiger. What would you say would be your best advice, you think, for a first-time trader?
The
What do you
best
think?
advice is to learn everything you can. Follow traders, follow people that aren't always trying to sell you something. Right? You go onto
Yeah.
YouTube and it's full of trading gurus that are pushing around their Lambos, their jewelry, they're flashing their houses.
Mhm.
But a lot of times they rent that stuff just for the videos, just for the content. It's kind of funny. I watched a couple videos on that. So, yeah, be careful. Mentor number one, right? That's obviously the first thing. Which channels like ours, right? Because we're on here just simply to share our knowledge. That's it. But yeah, pick something and stick with it. I mean, something we kind of went over yesterday was avoiding the vicious cycle of strategy hopping, right? So, um, yeah, whatever trading strategy that you have or that you're looking at, just give it some time. Give it a good 3 months, 6 months, and understand that losses are inevitable regardless of your trading strategy. It's just nothing more than the cost of doing business. When people see it from that point of view, I think it's a lot easier to absorb those small losses. And then probably the second biggest thing I would say is whatever you think you want to risk on a trade, cut it in half. Start off with whatever the broker will allow that you're using at the very minimum risk per trade, just to get your feet wet. Right? You don't want to go in on a
Yeah.
1% account risk or a 2% account risk on your first trades, because you do 4, 5, 6 of those in a row and you've already lost 10%. So whatever your broker allows as a minimum trade size, just do that for a good 10, 15, 20 trades. And like my mentor told me, Tiger, when you get tired of making money, that's where you can increase your risk. Whenever you get bored of making
Mm.
money, that's the exact words he gave. So, um, yeah, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not an overnight success. It definitely takes time. The basics of trading are simple, but it just takes time to get good at all the nuances that enhance your winning percentage, your comfort level, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
risk low, stop loss, latch onto a mentor, and jump into some
Yeah.
books. Trading the Zone is a good book. Trading the Zone, 3 Feet from Gold. There's a few books. I mean, that's one thing on the Discord. There's a references tab under there, I'm sorry, resources tab under there. Under, I believe it was, what is it, community? Let me look.
Mhm.
So strategy and education. There's a section there, and the fourth one down is resources. I like to throw books in there. Okay, I do that every Monday. So every Monday, I'll throw in a book I've read, and I'll just kind of touch on some of the reasons I like that book. It'll be kind of a mix of trading books I've read, but also just mindset books, right? Um, Part of my success in trading is all the books I read before I even had any interest in trading. Just learning about
Yeah.
mindset, learning about a little bit about business concepts, people skills, communication, stuff like that. I mean, stuff you wouldn't think of that would help your trading, but it does. It just helps to create resilience, um, develop a never quit attitude, because this stuff's hard. This stuff's super hard, especially at the very beginning of your journey. But you got to have a strong
Mm.
mind and not look at a challenge like it's going to break you. You just got to push through it. So a lot of
Yeah.
things. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things said. You can always reverse to replay it, but yeah, Start small, improve your brain, read some books, latch onto a mentor.
Yeah,
Channels like ours
and
are great places because we're just here to steer you in the right direction. Simple as that, with the right info you need.
agreed. Watch some of our live trading sessions for sure, and our coaches talk a lot about strategy and whatnot. And but I will say really quickly, Sire Mamat says or asked if the account challenge that is up for grabs for free, if it's Forex or futures. It is a 50K Forex account, and then on top of that, my advice for a first time trader, undoubtedly, um, I think that Coach Tiger touched on a bunch of things that you definitely should be doing as a first time trader. And the only thing I would really, I guess, be more specific on is um, understanding this what you call the specifications of the products in which you would be trading. So, for example, if you want to trade stocks, understanding what a stock is. Under If you want to trade bonds, understanding what a bond is and understanding essentially how it's priced, how are stocks priced, understanding a futures contract. If you're trading futures, how are futures priced? The what is a margin? Why are futures traded on margin? What does it mean? What is the minimum risk on a futures account in terms of minimum price fluctuation for a specific futures product that you want to trade? There are these really fundamental things, like a CFD, for example. What is the margin requirements to have a CFD account, um, or what kind of position size is the minimum position size you can put on versus the maximum. Like, there are just things like that to understand what risk you are putting yourself into with a lot of these trading vehicles. You definitely need to understand that before you're clicking buy and sell, no matter what, regardless if you have or do not have a strategy.
Mm.
Second would then be, in my opinion, yes, read until your eyeballs fall out of their sockets. Read as much as you genuinely can from any reputable sources in the trading world. It can even be investing stuff too, just to get yourself privy to like financial vernacular or jargon. But then you can read trading books like, Coach Tiger was saying. There's a lot of books that go into like basics of strategy. You can read technical analysis books that go into some of the technical sides of, trading the charts essentially. Um, and, uh, and yeah, and then that kind of leads me into the your other question, which says, what strategy did you start with, and how did it evolve over time with your current strategy? Do you follow one strict strategy, or does it change? That is undoubtedly a packed question, but what I will say is, my strategy, yes, it has evolved, but it's been very, very similar over the my last 4 years of trading. Essentially, my strategy is, analyzing order flow and using what we call market profile charting, TPO charting, to find areas of value to trade in and out of. Um, you can definitely learn a lot about that from just following our live trading sessions in the regular trading hours. For the New York session, me, Coach Daryl, and Coach Sam trade in this manner, and we explain it all the time. Um, but yes, my strategy has changed slightly here and there, but the core foundation of it has been the same for a long time. The only things that have changed maybe are, like, I added an EMA. I found an EMA that allows me to see trend, um, more often than I used to, like the 21 period EMA. I'll add that for a tighter, like analyzing a tighter trend during a trend day when the market profile is also screaming that it's a trend day. And then I'll use that like EMA as a support or resistance area, depending on whether the market's long or short. Um, but there are small things like that. So, but we do talk about, when you have a strategy, don't hop strategies all the time, because you do have to play a strategy out to a degree for enough time to where you can determine what the success of it is and what your probabilities are and everything, and what your win to loss ratio versus your risk to reward is, and how well it plays out. So you can't just be hopping around strategies all the time, and executing poorly on your trades and expecting really good results in the beginning. I would say, at least at the minimum in the beginning. I think seasoned traders have a hard time hopping between strategies, let alone beginner traders, and executing perfectly like you should be. So that
No.
is my long-winded uh, my long-winded answer to your questions there. No sleep narrator, thank you for asking and participating. We love going through that kind of stuff. And Fifey Trades also says, Paul, any book you can recommend if you want to understand order flow? Yes, I do have well, not a book specifically. No, I don't have a book specifically on order flow. That is me just staring at order flow for years.
Yeah.
I pay for the data, but generally speaking, um, I would say Mind Over. Oh, like that's so funny. Sire Mamet literally recommended the book that I was about to recommend. So Mind Over Markets by James Dalton is literally the book that I was about to recommend. It goes into TPO charts and value areas and understanding how longer term and shorter term order flow kind of consolidates together, and what certain like probability trades exist within value area observations on a daily basis in 30-minute time increments. It's
Hmm.
To me, it's extremely valuable. It basically goes through the auction process and how valuable the auction process is in trading, because the markets trade like an auction. It's no different than if there's an auction for like a car market or something. Like, if cars are being auctioned off, there's no difference. There are a bunch of people that either have interest or don't have interest, and an auctioneer is trying to gauge where price is being accepted amongst the participants. We just participate in the stock market slash future, like the equities markets or the bond markets or the commodities markets that we trade futures in, that the auctions are based off of, instead of cars. So um, I
You just
agree.
gave me a book.
I,
I'm
yeah,
pick,
and
I'm gonna pick up a copy of that myself.
yeah, Mind Over Markets is a fantastic, but Jack Dalton in general, he has multiple books, but Mind Over Markets is a really good one to at least start with. And I have third party software Fifey Trades on a different from a different service, not a Bloomberg terminal. I wish I had a Bloomberg terminal, but those are like
All
the
right, like
expense
$20,000 a
is,
year or something like that.
oh dude, it's like a month. It's a
Or a
month,
month.
I
Oh,
think.
even
Yeah,
more pricey than I
it it's like
thought.
some insane amount, and I haven't checked it out, and I haven't had a Bloomberg terminal in so long. I haven't had one in like I used to
20,000 a
have
month.
one for my I used to have one for my one of my first jobs at a bank, and I had it at my desk for
Yeah,
5 years, and needless to say, all of my coworkers were always surrounding my desk asking for to use it.
yeah,
But I was gifted with that for a good amount of time. But yeah, unfortunately, I do not have a Bloomberg terminal now. I wish. I wish.
yeah. Well,
We
that's
we
essentially, yeah. My Edge Finder is a very very cheap version of something like that. I mean, it's no Bloomberg, but it's a similar concept. Um, but yeah, 20,000 a
mm,
month. That's crazy. I was thinking it was that much a year, but Wow.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would get reminded all the time by my superiors, the guys, paying for the expenses at the bank. I would get reminded, like they're like, "Hey, by the way, we just want to make sure you're really using that Bloomberg terminal." I'm like, "Oh yeah, this
Right.
is literally
Yeah.
necessary for my job. So, don't take it away because if you do, geez Louise, is my productivity gonna go down tremendously. I
World would
will."
cave in, huh? Um,
Yeah.
we did have a question from Fife about, I believe it was Fife, wasn't it? About the Bitcoin. Yeah, Fifey. Yeah, go ahead and move back over to my chart real quick. Back in. We'll just take a quick look at Bitcoin.
Oh,
Real
and
quick, real
real
quick.
quick, in 4 minutes,
Yeah,
we will be announcing the winner. So we will
that's right.
announce the winner in 4 minutes.
That is right. Cuatro minutos. Yeah, Bitcoin. Look, I've still got it as kind of a neutral asset. To be quite honest with you, Fifey. Um, yeah, it's. I've got a score of about a 2 or a 3. Again, anything within a 5 to a -5 is more neutral. I just need a little bit more news to help it out to give it more of a bullish vibe. Currently, we had that no loitering area, that retail chop fest. We did break out on the low part of it, but I will say, from a technical aspect, by the way, I'm on a 12-hour time frame at the moment, and the reason I'm on a 12-hour time frame is because it's kind of giving me a little bit of a demand zone. If I turn all my drawings off real quick, right? You see that last red candle down, which is, there you go, last red candle down. The bottom of the next candle had a big rip to the upside, right? So that is kind of a point of interest for me. Had a huge fair value gap coming out of that. Now, I'm not specifically looking to buy at the top there. I'm looking specifically a little further down on a 2-hour time frame. Because if I go down to my 2-hour time frame, I have within that 12-hour candle another demand zone. So this is a 2-hour demand zone within the 12-hour. So that's confluence that I like to look for, right? Confluence. So yeah, I'd essentially be looking to buy off that candle, because if you look at the volume below, the volume spread analysis candles, they're growing and growing and growing as they come out. So that's a sign of strength when you're talking supply and demand, right? So yeah, we're not too far. And the other thing I like about that area, Fifey, is if you look, I put this blue dash line here. Anytime you see a blue dash line on my charts, it's because if you follow it all the way back, it's a former point of a support or a resistance. I don't trade support and resistance, just simply buying and selling at those areas. But I love to see when support and resistance lines go through, or at least are above or below a zone that I'm looking to buy or sell at. So yeah, for me personally, if I'm looking to place a buy just from a technical aspect, yeah, just get price to wick through, hit the support, go down into the 12-hour, but specifically touch the 2-hour demand, and then I'd be looking for a buy, something like that. So that's what I would be most interested in. Hope that helps you out. Now, again, we're not a signal service. I'm just telling you what I would consider doing. Now, if and when price comes down, then there's some other things I'm looking for at that point. I'm not just going to blindly buy. But I do like that there's liquidity under this point here, from stop losses, and not to mention the unfilled orders. But I need a reversal candle of some type once it hits that zone, preferably a bullish engulfing with some volume spiking like crazy. That would help me to potentially buy that market up. So hopefully that gives you at least an understanding from a higher time frame point of view, what I'd be looking at. But it's a no-go for me at the moment. I just need more information. And on that note, is it time to talk a winner
Yeah.
up here? It is, isn't it?
I think, yeah, I think it is. It's time. It's
All right.
time.
It's time. Well, who's going to win today? Who do you guys think's going to win? We got a few options in this here chat. So how about we go back to my chat. Yeah, here we go. Fifey. Fifey Trades.
Fifey trades.
Congratulations on the 50K account. Right after I answered your question,
Congrats.
then you get an account. Hopefully that helps you out. But yeah,
Yeah.
congrats. Just keep an eye on your inbox. Our awesome, excellent back end team will definitely reach out to you, Fifey Trades, to help you with your login information and getting your account created. So, congrats, congrats, congrats.
Mm. Congrats, Fifey. That's awesome.
Yep.
50K Forex challenge account coming your way. I mean, that's
So
just so
jealous.
awesome. I am.
Yep.
I I really am. It's such a good opportunity. Um,
Mhm.
regardless, Fifey, let us know. You know, what are you interested in trading in the challenge account? Drop us what you're looking to trade. Maybe some forex pairs, or maybe you're interested in trading some gold, some XAU USD, or
Mhm.
something like that. Let us know what you're thinking you'd like to trade.
Well, we know Bitcoin must be on his list since we just answered that question. So, um, yeah, definitely interested to see. And just so you guys know, anytime we're on these 2 hour streams at this time of the night, just let us know if you want us to look at any specific charts, any particular fundamental analysis. If you want us to kind of dissect the day's news, anything specific. I mean, we typically come into these streams with a game plan, if you will, but we don't want to just talk the whole time about what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what you want to talk about. So we kind of brief on the news at the very start, as far as like the economic calendar, anything relevant. But then we just pretty much open the rest of it up to you guys and gals. So yeah, definitely find some
Yeah,
friends, find some people that you know that might be interested in trading, or even if they're a 20-year vet, 30-year vet. I mean, we don't discriminate. We're just here to kind of share our opinions, our thoughts, and most importantly, our lessons that me and Coach Paul have learned, so that we can help somebody maybe avoid those mistakes or take a little less time in getting to a particular spot where you want to be. So yeah, just a couple thoughts on that. Paul, do you have anything to add
yeah,
on to that?
yeah. I mean, all we want is we want two types of people at Ola Prime. We want people that want to get into the firm trading game, maybe as newer traders, to learn and become successful and get their footing in the markets and become successful, or like Coach Tiger said, maybe traders that are already experienced and just looking to get into the prop trading firm and get some access to some capital and make some money with us. And that's we're trying to do is really provide an opportunity to traders who want to continue being traders or are already successful or are just getting into the game and want to learn more and develop the foundation, as you could say, to becoming a successful trader. So yeah, recommend to anybody any whether they got 0 days experience and want to get into it, or 20 years experience and are just looking for another area to get some capital under their belt to trade.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's it. That's
So
it. And
looks sorry.
no, I was just going to say, and learn at least the basics of these economic reports that we talk about. I mean, you don't have to know, you don't have to be a guru or an economist on it, but just understanding what happens typically when the services PMI report comes out, like it did today, or the unemployment reports we get weekly, right? The rate
Mhm.
statements. I mean, everything else, just the basics. I mean, basically, if you can just kind of figure out how the growth reports work, the inflation, the employment, central banks, right? The housing data. I mean, it sounds like a lot. Obviously, the consumer surveys, business surveys, speeches, that kind of thing. If you could just understand the basics of those, then it'll just help you to avoid trading in those time periods when they come out, or at least being careful, or waiting for the volume to kind of shake back out to normal. Because I know we have a lot of technical only traders, and that's understandable. That's how I started. But I will tell
Mhm.
you, after the last several years of really digging into the fundamentals, it has made it so much simpler for me. Um, only simple because I spent 10 years studying technical analysis only, right? So the minute I added in the fundamentals and understanding the relationships,
Mhm.
completely changed my trading around. So totally get it if you're technical only, but I would at least learn the basics of how these economic calendar events affect currencies. Um, you know, even from a 30,000 foot view. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. If you're somebody that maybe has been in technical analysis trading for a few years or something like that, you pretty well know the basics of your technical setups, right? So just add in a little bit of fundamentals, and I promise you that'll be the best piece of advice I personally could ever give you.
Mhm.
So hopefully that
Yeah.
helps somebody.
Yeah, I mean, the economic data at the very minimum, just understanding how like economic data and like fundamentally how like you're just like how the markets, like for example, if there is a uh, the relationship between the U.S. dollar and the equity markets, or understanding the relationship between a poor bond auction, U.S. Treasury bond auction, and the equity markets, or a
Mm-hmm.
poor U.S. Treasury bond auction and the gold, or versus the dollar. Like there are or like, you know, if based on current sentiment, what does labor, like how much of an effect will labor data have on the equity markets if it's a bad report or if it's a good report?
Right.
Understanding the general biases based off of these data sets and how they could affect the markets can give you an under help you not get run over in a position.
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, if like you have a short bias going into a day where labor data is coming out, and the labor data ends up being relatively bullish for the markets, and the markets start screaming to the upside, maybe
Mm-hmm.
what that will now do is give you the idea to not be biased to the bear side. At the minimum, you're now neutral for the time being. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's 30 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes where you're neutral until it gets to a level where maybe you could short if you feel like order flow is giving you such a signal. But yeah,
That's
so
no, that's exactly right. Just the basics, and I mean, when it crazy Z to kind of answer your question, and then we'll be pretty well done. Do the Dixie. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to Dixie, this is exactly what I'm looking at. Just going back to the reports, right? The PMIs, the PPIs, the unemployment rates, the jobs, everything, right? You look at everything as
mm,
a collection. You don't put all your stock into one report. Like obviously, we had a negative report the other day for the non-farm payroll, right? Wherever that's at here on my list. But then you got to remember, just a few days prior, we had an excellent GDP growth number that came out. So looking at everything as a whole, finding what percentage of reports beat expectations, in this case, 46%, that just kind of gives me the idea that it's more of a neutral setting right now for the dollar because we had negative reports, but we had good reports before that. You look at it as a whole, and then when it comes to the Dixie, yeah, I mean, I kind of already drew that up actually the other day. I'm just basically looking at some price action like this because we did round the corner on a technical level, and now we've got higher lows, higher highs, right? So, um, but again,
yep.
that's the technical only story. We got the fundamentals that we got to remember. So it's more neutral. I need some more good news for the dollar for me to go get bullish on it. 46,
Mm-hmm.
no. If I start getting that to 60% or higher, get some more good reports up in here, then I've got the fundamental and sentiment score saying, okay, Tiger, you now have permission to buy the US dollar. Technicals are already matching up. Now it's off to the races. So hopefully that helps out. And yeah, we got 5 seconds, Paul. Any last thoughts?
No, I ended the stream with two trades and a P&L of positive 78 cents. I
There
wish
you
I could
go.
have I wish I could have done something a little bit better for you guys, but you know, we'll look to get back at it. Coach Tiger and Coach Daryl will get back at it tomorrow night on the Quiet Sessions
Yeah.
trading session tomorrow, and
32.
then I'll be back on. I'll be back on Thursday. But
Right
until then,
on.
everybody, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, Coach Tiger. I'll see you in a couple days,
Absolutely.
and take care. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep. Enjoy. Have a good one, everybody.
Yep.
I'll take my $32
See ya.
and be happy for the day.
Yes. Have a good one.
All right. Enjoy, everyone.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.